Hello, and welcome to Creepy Chillz. I'm your midnight guide, here to lead you through another shadowed tale beneath the veil of night. Before we begin tonight's rainy sleep story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap the like button. It helps more sleepy wanderers find their way to our little corner of the dark. Let me know in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it there? I love seeing the midnight map of listeners from around the world. Now, settle in. Let the sound of the rain ease your thoughts. Let your breath slow. You're safe. You're not alone. You're with us now. It was just past midnight. Not through windows, not from the shadows of the street, but through the ink of forgotten pages. Through the quiet thrum of stories too heavy to forget. Some books are not meant to be read. Some were written in whispers, in sorrow, and in souls. It was just past midnight when Alara found the library. Rain pattered softly against the umbrella as she walked through part of town she did not recall stepping into. Her phone had drained. Streetlights were dull. She possessed neither map nor goal, only the residual draw of something pulling her ahead. At the end of a cobble alley, which was very narrow, between two dilapidated buildings, stood a wrought iron gate, open a fraction. Behind it loomed a building that did not belong to this era. Stone-built and high, its windows arched like vigilant eyes. The sign over the door merely said, Thornahill Public Library. It shouldn't have been open, but it was. The wooden door groaned as she pushed it open, and a huge room that was wall to wall with bookshelves that went up out of sight was revealed to her. A golden light emanated from the room, though she had no idea where it was coming from. And in spite of the storm raging outside, it was absolutely quiet inside. Too quiet. She entered. The smell of old paper, candle wax, and something slightly metallic met her. The sort of smell that smells like memory. There was no front desk. No waiting people. Just books. Thousands of them. Possibly more. She drifted further in. The titles were strange. The Girl Who Swallowed the Moon, Silas and the Endless Wait. To remember is to return. Each spine hand-lettered, bound in heavy leather and cold to the touch. And then she heard it. A whisper. Soft. Nearly like wind moving between pages. But it wasn't wind. It was words. Help me. She stiffened. The noise came from the shelf closest to her. She moved in closer. No one. Nothing but books. But when she touched one, a navy-bound book with no title, a shiver coursed through her fingertips. She jerked her hand back. The whisper became louder. Please. I can't get out. Alara stumbled away, heart thudding. But something prevented her from taking a step that wasn't precisely fear. Something was sadness. Profound. Ancient. As the memory of a crying child left behind in a dream. She extracted the book off the shelf. It went open by itself. Pages flew fast and then landed on one page. And on the page, a face. Distressed, as if an aged photograph etched onto parchment. The eyes of the woman were stretched out in sorrow, mouth open in a soundless scream. Alara slammed the book closed. And as instantly, the whisper ceased. She put the book down and took a step back. The instant her hand released it, the book disappeared. Vanished. As if it never was. She turned to exit, but the door was no longer behind her. Only more shelves. More rows. More books. The library had altered. Now the quiet was oppressive. Charged. Like 1,000 suspended breaths. She hurried forward, shouting out. Hello? Anyone. A gentle voice replied, not close, not distant, just beside her. You opened one. You heard them. Who is there? You can see us now. You feel us. A man emerged from behind two shelves. A young man, dressed in an old-fashioned waistcoat, his eyes deep-set but friendly. I'm Thomas, he said softly. I was a librarian here, long ago. Where am I? He looked around. Some people call it the Library of Lost Souls. A spot between moments, between memories. Each of our books has a soul who once visited in search of answers, but never departed. Ilara swallowed hard. Why? They read something that wasn't intended for them to read. Their story got rewritten. The gates caught their names, their faces, their fear. He regarded her. You still get to choose. She tightened her coat around herself. Why me? Because you listen. Most don't walk by, don't even see the gate. But you were quiet enough within to overhear us. He took her down twisting aisles that curved and stretched like things alive. They moved past shelves with names, dozens, hundreds of them. Each one a person who had opened the wrong book. Is an exit possible? She breathed. Yes, he answered, halting before an intimidating black shelf. But first, you need to return that which was taken. Ilara's eyebrow shot up. I took nothing. He indicated her coat pocket. She rummaged inside, and her fingers found a book. The same dark navy one. She hadn't even realized she carried it. How? It recognized you, Thomas told her. It recalled. That soul has been searching for someone in whom she might be able to lodge her grief. Ilara stared at the book, its cover throbbing with cold. What if I bring it back? She will be free. And so will you. Ilara paused, then moved forward, putting the book back down carefully into a thin, vacant slot. The instant it hit the shelf, the air changed. A gentle, echoing sigh moved through the rows. Lights blinked. Somewhere far in the building, a clock started ringing. And the whisper came back, only this time, it was not a plea for rescue. It was a thank you. The library walls melted into golden haze. Shelves dissolved into smoke. The floor under her warmed, like rain after sun. Thomas smiled. You gave back what never belonged to you. And the library holds on to goodness. Ilara blinked. And she was standing there. At the end of the alleyway. The rain had ceased. The gate was missing. Where the library was, only brick wall and ivy remained now. She spun slowly about, still waiting for her heart to settle. Her phone vibrated in her pocket, back on. Back to normal. And yet, she could still smell the faintest whiff of parchment and candle wax. Ilara never discovered the library once more. But sometimes, just on the verge of sleep, she dreams of it. Of the shelves. Of the whispers. Of Thomas, grinning as the mist swallowed him. And occasionally, as she passes a second-hand shop or a derelict back street, she catches the whisper of a sound. The turn of a page. The street was silent that evening, as it never was at this hour. Only the gentle hush of wind through the leaves and the buzz of a far-off streetlight flickering. Ethan was in bed, his head on the soft, worn pillow, eyes gazing out the window. The world outside seemed far away, more or less like a dream, a place distinct from his own fatigued and leaden thoughts. But something had been different in the air lately. A subtle change. Something not quite concrete but strong enough to leave Ethan feeling on edge. It had begun 2 weeks ago, An anomaly, a disruption in the beat of his life. The neighbor. The one who lived just across the street in the house that was always a little too perfect, a little too clean. Initially, Ethan had not given it a second thought. Mr. Gregory, a frail old man with pale white hair and glasses perched a fraction too high on his nose, had always been a presence in the neighborhood. He'd occupied that house for as long as Ethan could remember. He was a reserved man, a man who did not often leave the house, but when he did, he was always courteous, always nodding his head in that slow, thoughtful manner that only old people seem to manage. But something had been different over the last few weeks. It had begun with the tiniest things, nothing that would have caused a commotion had it been a different neighbor, a different home. Mr. Gregory had begun to look younger. Ethan had seen it one morning when he went off to work. The old man was at the end of his driveway, watering his plants, his face unlined, his eyes sparkling with an energy Ethan had not seen in years. He was not more than 70, but there was something about his stride, something too perky, too energetic. Ethan had blinked, wondering if he was imagining things. But when he came home that night, the transformation was more evident. Mr. Gregory was sitting on his porch, grinning at the sky, his back straighter than usual. Ethan had walked by him, nodding a hello, but there was an odd, creepy something about the smile the man returned. It was too big, too knowing. The next few days only added to the mystery. Every time Ethan caught sight of Mr. Gregory, the transformation was more evident. His skin grew tighter, the lines of age disappearing from his face. His hair, which had once been snowy white, now contained flecks of deep brown. At first, Ethan believed it might be some sort of illusion, some optical trick brought about by the way the sun hit him, but it wasn't. It couldn't be. Ethan tried to ignore it. He'd never been a believer in supernatural nonsense, and the notion that his neighbor was growing old in reverse was just ridiculous. But the more he looked at Mr. Gregory, the stronger the feeling